Good morning, MCF3Ms. This is Mr. Sadler coming to you live from the internet on Monday, December the 8th, 2014. I am a little under the weather. What that means for you guys is that, is that you won't be able to understand me as I'm talking here. So, to make some of you guys happy in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a short video for you guys and give you guys lots of examples to work on today. This is going to be similar to what we did on Friday, so if you were there on Friday, you should have no problem getting through this. If you weren't, then please listen very carefully to make sure that all is well. Okay, so our warm-up is going to say graph or y equals 2 sine 3 theta minus 30 plus 1, and state the domain and range. Okay, so there's our equation. What I'll be looking for in this graph is my amplitude, my axis, the period, the action points, the phase shift, and we want to know when the sign starts at. Alright, so since I've been told by Nicole and others that no one actually answers these, I'm just going to go through this nice and slowly for you guys. Hopefully all is well. All of these things will be responsible for knowing for how to graph these, being able to grab these off the equation, and then using them to graph. Okay, so the first thing we're going to find is the amplitude. We're just going to left to right. The amplitude for this graph is equal to 2. Where that comes from, that's a number in front of the sign. That's 2. Okay, my axis here is going to be 1. Where that comes from, that's the vertical translation, so that's going to be 1. The period here is going to equal 360 divided by 3, which is 120. Where the divided by 3 comes from is right here. The action points, this is where the graphs goes from a max to a min, and this is going to be what your graph, your horizontal, every horizontal square in your graph is going to be every 30 degrees. Your phase shift is going to be 30 degrees to the right. The reason for that is this is your phase shift coming up right here. Okay, because it says negative 30, that's a horizontal translation in the opposite direction, so right. And finally, sine is going to start at the axis. Let's go through where all these came from again here one last time. Alright, so the amplitude is always going to be the number here. Okay, that's going to be your vertical stretch. Okay, amplitude is how much the graph goes up and down from the middle. This is going to be your horizontal contraction. So if you think back to your f of x stuff, that would be divide x by 3. In this case, what it means is our period is going to be divided by 3, which is going to take it to 120, as well as our action points are divided by 3, which is going to take it to 30. Excuse me. Here we're going to have, if you think here back to your f of x, that would be add 30 degrees to x. In this case, we're not going to be adding them to x, we're just going to start our graph 30 degrees to the right. Finally, our axis here is plus 1, that's going to be our axis, and sine is going to start at the axis. Alright, and there we go. Okay, so let's get to graphing this, if you don't mind. So what I'm going to do, I don't know the best way to do this here. I sort of want to be able to see. Oh, that's not it. That's not what I want to do. Sorry. What I sort of want to be able to see is, for you guys to see anyway, is the chart on the left-hand side, as well. Then I want you to be able to see the graph paper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through one step at a time here. The first thing I'm going to do here is my axis. Okay, so on the graph paper, what you guys will be doing, you guys will be numbering these, of course. For me, I don't have. It's very difficult to do with the computer here, so I'm not actually going to graph it. I'm going to graph it, but I'm not actually going to number everything. But this is going to be the line right here where y equals 1. So this right here, I'll put this on the left here, is going to be your axis. That's going to be y equals 1. Okay. Okay, the second thing I'm going to do here is my amplitude. Okay, what that's going to tell me is that we're going to go up 2 and down 2 from my axis. So what my amplitude is, I'm going to change the color to red here first, but then the maximum value on the graph is going to be at 3. And the minimum value is going to be at -1. Now the reason we got these from, and again, if you weren't here on Friday, hopefully the person beside you can help you to clarify things if you didn't go online to check out the videos here. So what happens is here, the amplitude is 2. That means you're going up 2 from your axis to get your highest point, and down 2 to get your minimum. I think what I will do, actually, if I can, I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm going to try and put numbers in here if I can. So then it should be 3, 2, 1, 0, -1. Which is working better than I thought. Okay, that's equals 2. That should be -2, but I think you know what I mean. Okay, great. So now I've gotten where the graph's going to be at the middle, and then the highest point and the lowest point of my graph. Right? Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, excuse me, is my action point. So this is going to be third. And that I'm basically going to count by 30s, left to right. Because this graph is a little small, I'm going to make every other line 30. And I'm just going to start maybe at -60 here on the left. And hopefully this will be somewhat clear. So there's going to be -60 there. 2 squares over from me is going to be -30. So that's -30 there. 2 squares over from that is going to be 0. 2 squares over from that is going to be 30. Then we're going to get 60. Then we're going to get 90. And then we can continue if we want to. That should be enough to, excuse me, to go from there. Okay. So again, 36, -30. Let's try again here. -60, -30, 0, 30, 90, etc. Phase shift is 30 degrees right. What that means for us, and I'm going to do this in blue, is that instead of starting at excuse me, instead of starting at 0 for the first point on the graph, my first point on the graph is going to go right here. So I'm going to just put in print here underneath. I'm going to say starting point, or starting, I guess. Oh goodness. That's right. All right, and there we go. Okay, so how we're going to do this graph, I'm going to do this graph, I think, in, what color should I use? Let's maybe just do it in black. We'll see how well this works. Alright, so I'm going to do this freehand here. What I'm just going to do is I'm going to put a big giant dot, if I could. Let's see how this goes here. At every point. So it says here sine is going to start at the axis. That means my first point is going to be at 30 degrees instead of 0 and on the axis. Now the graph of sine is going to be, as we sort of looked at last week, is going to be sort of like a wave. So my next point, we're going to step over 30. This is the idea of the action points. And instead of staying at the axis, we're going to go up to the maximum. Okay. From there, you're going to go to the axis. From there, you're going to go to the minimum. And then back to the axis forever and ever and ever. So you can't actually, oops, sorry. And then you can't actually see my graph here, but I'm going to keep on doing more here. I'm going to slide this over in a sec. On the other side of 0, then, it's going to go, 0 is going to be at the minimum. -30 is going to be at the axis. And then -60 is going to be at the max. So I'm going to keep on doing this here just to show you how it should repeat forever and ever and ever. Alright, now this is where the messiness is going to come in, so I'm going to try and connect the dots here. Now, not that you guys probably care, but I'm doing this on a laptop. So I have one of those silly mouse pads. trying to do here. This actually isn't going too badly. I'm going to jinx myself here. And there we go. Okay, I'm going to put, please don't show this to your video to your parents, but good graphing, because that's sort of hard to look at there, that graph. Alright, so the last two things I have to do for this, excuse me, is put my title in here. My title should be y equals, 2 sine 3, I don't have a theta button on here, so I'm just going to say 0 minus 30 plus 1. I'm going to put a line in there in a sec. Okay, I need my domain and my range. My domain is going to be just x is anything. And my range is going to be y is, negative 1 is less than, less than or equal to, I don't know how I'm going to draw that. Sorry guys, I'm feeling like crud here, so you guys are getting punished on this graph here. That's my symbol for less than or equal to. Okay, idiots can hit the max and the min. Okay, hopefully this is somewhat a little bit clear for what just happened here today. I'm sort of feeling bad here because I'm feeling worse than I thought I was when I started recording this video. So hopefully this is clear. What you have now is you have, I think I left you 6 graphs to do today to hand in for a choice assignment. So practice these up. If this wasn't clear, please ask the person beside you or someone else in the class. I know Cody, for example, will be a pro at this, so feel free to ask him if there's any questions. All right, thank you. Bye.